Pilates move of the month. Our Pilates toe taps are what we're focusing on here today. This is the exercise that really made me fall in love with Pilates. You can really feel how different muscles are working throughout your core, stabilizing as well as the obliques. Really awesome set of abdominal exercises here. We will be using a small ball. If you don't have a small ball, a little dish towel rolled up, perfectly fine, or a pillow as well. We're going to start lying on our back, just on the mat. Finding your core here as you lie down, I want you to draw your navel towards your spine, creating that internal core set. Goal is to work this in a neutral spine or little arc of the low back. If you feel like the low back is compromised, you can really just pull the belly button down, connecting yourself into the mat. It'll really force the core to activate. So work with whichever position feels right for you, pressing down through the backs of the arms. We're going to lift the legs into tabletop here. My knee, it's about over my hip, and my shin, it's about parallel to the ground. Activating that internal core set, again, noticing if an in-print spine, top of the tailbone, is better for you here. You're going to start to hinge your right thigh away from you, so much so that that right toe taps the mat. You're going to inhale to draw it back to table, and then exhale, switch sides, alternating from one side to the other. Really finding that the opposite side of your abdominals has to hang on here as the thigh moves away from you. What I want you to notice is that you're moving from that thigh bone in your hip like a pendulum. You're not just dropping the lower half of your leg. So your knees are moving here. You're maintaining that 90-degree bend in the knees, really finding that activation in the core to keep those hips level. We'll do 3 more on each side. Continue to breathe. Use your breath pattern, your pace with control. 1 more on each side. Hug those knees in towards the chest. Gorgeous. We're going to grab this ball here and really create some instability for our abdominals. They're going to work so much harder here next. You're going to pick the hips up and you're going to place that ball right underneath your tailbone. Trying to find neutral here. More instability. A lot more movement than when we're just on the mat. Really pressing down through the backs of your arms, your triceps, they're going to anchor you. Put on that internal core set. Lift the legs one at a time to tabletop. Already feel how much harder you've got to work here. My shake is already starting. You're going to lower that right toe down towards the mat and then pick it back up to tabletop. Left toe up to table. Alternating from side to side just like you did prior. Much more challenging to keep those hips level. And if you ever feel that you're compromising the low back, you're letting go of the core, you're going to pull the navel down towards the mat, down towards your spine, tucking the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Work with what works for your body. We're doing 3 more on each side here. This feels amazing for those abdominals. Shrinking the waist, 1 toe tap at a time. 1 more here. Beautiful. Drop those feet down, pick up the hips, and send that ball away. You're lying down on your back here. Those knees are still bent. You're going to reach for the backs of your thighs with your hands. You're going to curl the head, neck, and chest up and walk yourself up to a seated position, hanging on to the backs of those thighs. Once you're here, I'm pulling the upper and lower half of my abdominals towards one another. Ribs and hips, they're glued together. C curve in the low back. Imprint. You're going to lift 1 leg at a time up to tabletop, finding a modified version of your teaser pose. Knees stay bent here. Now, if you're okay to, you're going to let go with the arms, keeping them floating by the sides of your legs. Same toe taps, dropping the right toe, scooping it up. Dropping the left toe, scooping it up. Notice here, again, my thigh, it's hinging away from me. I don't have as far to go, but my abdominals sure are working hard to keep me in this V position. Finding that scoop from your core, sending a nice proud chest up towards the sky, breathing here, We've got 3 more on each side. Alternating, find those abdominals. Last one here. Bring those feet down. Grab the backs of those thighs. You're going to roll yourself all the way down so that you're lying back down on your back. Grounding through the feet and knees about hip distance apart. We're going to lift the hips into a bridge here. Neutral bridge. Low back stays arched. Turn on the seat, backs of the thighs without even moving. Whole back of the body is activated. You're going to use that activation to float the hips straight up towards the sky as if 2 helium balloons were picking them up. Once those hips are nice and high, it's your toe taps. Big inhale, exhale, hover the right leg to table. Inhale, place it down, toe ball heel. Left foot lifts, places down. Notice as I lift to table, the opposite side of my body, glutes, backs of the thighs, really turn on. Find what that feels like to try to stabilize those level hips using that one side of the body. Anchoring across your posture, chest is nice and open, pressing through the triceps here. This is more about the back half of the body than the front half like the previous exercises. Breathing here to keep my core on, to incorporate my diaphragm into my movement. 1 more on each side. Beautiful. Both feet grounded, hips go 1 inch higher. We're going to roll the spine down, starting with the heart. Create space in the vertebra as one at a time places down on the mat. Keeping my glutes, backs of my thighs on until that very last second. Letting go of my seat, coming into that neutral spine. Go ahead and roll over onto one side. And then just pick yourself up into a seated position. Amazing work. Hope that made you fall in love with toe taps as much as I am. I'll see you on the mat here next time.